Good morning, everybody. Very enthusiastic good morning. Thank you. I'm Ed Glutzbach. I'm the chairman of the board of the Laclede Group, and I want to welcome all of our shareholders to our annual meeting on behalf of our other board of directors and the employees. So thanks for coming and sharing some time with us this morning. Before we start, let me introduce our board, as well as our executive officers and also the representatives of our independent auditors, Deloitte & Touche, that are with us this morning as well. So my fellow directors are Mark Borer, retired Chief Executive Officer and board member of DCP Midstream Partners. Maria Fogarty, retired Senior Vice President, Internal Audit and Compliance of NextEra Energy. Tony Laness, retired Managing Director of Investment Banking for Global Power and Energy at Merrill Lynch. Steve Meritz, Chairman and CEO of Meritz Holdings. Brenda Newberry, founder and retired Chief Executive Officer of the Newberry Group. Suzanne Sitherwood, who's our Chief Executive Officer and President of the Laclede Group. John Stupp, President of Stupp Brothers Incorporated. And Mary Ann Van Loughran, who's retired Chairman and CEO of Cray Distributing. The executive officers we have with us are Steve Lindsay, who's Executive VP and Chief Operating Officer of Distribution Operations. Steve Rashi, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. Mark Darrell, Senior Vice President, General Counsel, and Chief Compliance Officer. Craig Dowdy, Senior Vice President, External Affairs, Corporate Communications and Marketing. Mike Geiselhart, Senior Vice President, Strategic Planning and Corporate Development. And with us from Deloitte & Touche is our audit partner, Adam Krasnoff. Adam, there's Adam. So let me also ask the other officers of the Laclede entities, and as you know, we have more than we used to, who are here today to please stand and be recognized. Okay, thank you all. I will now begin the formal meeting. Do we have proof of notice?
Yes, I have affidavit of Elizabeth Wadanine of Broadridge Financial Solutions that shows the notice of the meeting has been distributed as required. At the opening of the meeting, we have received proxies for majority of the shares issued and outstanding. If any shareholder has a proxy to turn in, please raise it and an usher will pick it up.
Does anyone have a proxy that needs to be gathered? Since we have more than a majority of the outstanding common shares represented here either in person, we do have one, sorry. Since we have more than a majority of the outstanding common shares represented either in person or by proxy, we have a quorum. Therefore, we may proceed with the business of the meeting. The corporate secretary has the minutes of last year's annual meeting available. If any shareholder wishes to inspect those minutes, please contact Ellen after the meeting. This morning we have 3 items of business that Ms. Theroff will now present.
For the first item of business, as proxy, I nominate Brenda D. Newberry, Suzanne Sitherwood, and Mary Ann Van Loughran as directors for a 3-year term expiring at the annual meeting in the year 2019. These for the nominees named in the proxy statement.
Is there a second to these nominations?
I second it.
Thank you, Julie.
For the second item of business, as proxy, I move for reapproval of the Laclede Group Annual Incentive Plan as amended.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second that.
Marla seconded.
For the third item of business, as proxy, I move the ratification of the appointment of Deloitte & Touche as company's independent registered public accountant for the fiscal year 2016.
Second.
Is there a second to that motion? Scott? Thank you. Thank you. Creighton Dunlop of IVS Associates has been appointed as Inspector of Election and will report results to the Secretary as soon as they are available. The proxies have cast votes in accordance with the instructions received from the shareholders giving such proxies. If any shareholder in the audience would like to submit their vote on the issues now, please raise your hand and an usher will bring you a ballot. If so, please mark your ballots and turn them in to an usher so that they can be tallied. I want to pause for a minute and see if anybody needs a ballot. Okay, while waiting on the report of the Inspector of Election, I would like to share a few comments and then I'll turn the floor over to Suzanne. We've got a ballot to be collected, please. When I had the opportunity to step into the role of chairman of the Laclede Group about a year ago, I considered it a privilege and an honor. Laclede is one of the largest publicly traded gas utilities in the country, with an enterprise value now exceeding $4 billion. It was a step I took with confidence because I've seen firsthand how the company's ability to set and achieve its goals thanks to a solid business strategy, and it has a team that excels in executing against it. Also, I knew I would have the assistance and support from my fellow board members, and that added to my confidence a great deal, and in fact, that has already proven invaluable in many ways. Every step the Laclede Group has taken is part of a well-articulated growth strategy, and our objective is clear: to build on our strong gas utility experience and expertise to become a company that delivers with each encounter energy that inspires. Because of this approach, we continue to provide significant value to you, our shareholders. We pay very close attention to the important things that matter to our shareholders, namely stock performance and dividends paid. Those two measurements together are called percent total shareholder return. And for the past several years, the company has averaged double-digit total shareholder return. Contributing to that, last year we reported net economic earnings of $3.19 per diluted share, compared to $3.05 per diluted share in 2014. We grew 11% after normalizing the prior year results for the unusually cold weather we had then. This growth was well above our long-term earnings per share growth target of 4 to 6%. Our strong performance and future growth prospects gave us the confidence to increase our dividend for this year, 2016, to $1.96 per share, an increase of 6.5% over last year's dividend, and our 13th consecutive year of dividend increases. And we are making investments to better serve our customers. By that, I mean we are investing in both our infrastructure and our people. Last year, we invested a record $290 million in new capital. More than half of this total was dedicated to improving safety and reliability by replacing a rather remarkable 235 miles of pipeline in Missouri and Alabama. At the same time, the investment in our people is having significant impact. The Laclede Group achieved a historically low employee injury rate in 2015, 18% lower than in 2014, and 25% lower than our 5-year average. To achieve a higher standard of service for our customers, we are enhancing our technology and implementing shared services like human resources, legal, accounting, communications, supply chain, and facilities management to streamline and simplify our processes across our organization, and channeling that energy back into improving our customer experience. We are actively pursuing organic growth across our gas utilities because it's only by understanding what our customers need that we can advance the products and services that will deepen our relationships across communities. This year, Laclede Energy Resources, our gas marketing business, continued to effectively leverage its transportation and storage assets to meet the most demanding needs of its customers. Excuse me. Despite a year with milder temperatures and expanding natural gas supply, we delivered on our financial and strategic goals much more effectively than I'm delivering on a strong voice. Our customers expect us to do what hasn't been done before, which means we must continually explore emerging business technologies and applications that may very well one day transform our industry. We also continue to focus, thank you very much. We also continue to focus on delivering the mix of gas assets that will provide our customers with the highest reliability at the best price. We're looking more broadly across all of our assets, ensuring diversity in access to gas supply from various geographic basins in the country, and the supporting transportation services, ensuring reliability to our customers. In short, we continue to carefully consider acquisition opportunities, and we're concentrating on expanding our relationships with existing customers by improving our engagement at every touch point we have with them and offering a wider choice of services to respond to their growing needs. We're also looking at new and creative ways to modernize our gas assets so our customers can be assured of reliable service at an affordable price with access to those new supply basins. This kind of thinking is inspiring an evolution for our company, one that provides energy in new and innovative ways. When it comes down to it, energy really exists to help people, to enrich their lives. And the Laclede Group, our board, and the 3,100 employees we have a strong commitment to delivering on that mission. I want to thank all of our employees for their commitment and hard work during this past year, and my fellow board members for their guidance, dedication, and support. I'd especially like to thank Tony Laness. Tony will be retiring from our board today. Tony, on behalf of all of us at Laclede, we are deeply appreciative of your years of service. You've brought passion, intellect, dedication, ideas, questions. We're going to miss your voice around the table. But help me thank Tony very much for what he's done for Laclede. We wish you and Maureen the best always. I'm sure you'll have good times. Don't forget about us. I'd now like to introduce our President and CEO, Suzanne Sitherwood, for a few brief remarks. I'll take my water.
I think I'll let you take it. So, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Ed. And it's just a delight to me to see everybody here this morning, enjoying our new building. Ed went through a little bit of our metrics from a fiduciary responsibility and how important that is and how we performed. And we as a management team take that very seriously. But because he's gone through the numbers, I thought what I'd share is ever so briefly this morning, a little bit about our fabric, about who we are really as a company and as a team. Because you see, we view our existence here and our approach more than just a business. It's about the community and about how we serve you every day. As you can see, this is our first annual meeting inside our new offices in downtown St. Louis. We moved into this long vacated historic building last year, bringing renewed energy to the center of downtown St. Louis. And it's been a real pleasure to see the awakening of this building and how the community has embraced us, embraced this building alongside of us. In Birmingham, we opened a new Metro Operations Center to better serve customers and provide a strong, visible presence in that community. And similarly, we saw an embracement from the community, all leaders coming out and enjoying that ribbon cutting right alongside of us. We also continue our long tradition of giving back to our communities. Employees and our foundation come together last year to give more than $1.4 million to United Way and supported programs and services that help people across our region. Organizations like American Red Cross, Boys and Girls Club, and the American Cancer Society. These organizations not only help people, they bring people together to provide a support network. We also continue to support energy assistance programs that help those in need after the federal and state funds are no longer available. In all, we invested nearly $3.2 million. Let me say that again. $3.2 million this year to help the communities we serve. I'd also like to emphasize something that Ed said. When it comes down to it, energy exists to help people. It enriches their lives. And we as a management team, as a group of employees, we firmly believe that, and we firmly believe that in everything that we do each and every day as we come together to work. Our mission statement, which you saw for the first time in this year's annual report, is answer every challenge, advance every community, and enrich every life through the strength of our energy. I believe that when we truly live our mission, we become the organization that we strive to be. And in a sector that is reinventing itself in response to unprecedented changes in the global energy market, I'm sure each of you see it at the pump every day, the Laclede Group is responding with a transformation of our own, one that will change the energy space for good. We're reimagining Laclede to better reflect the company that we are becoming. We're exploring business opportunities that are grounded in our natural gas expertise, but extending our reach into new areas and redefining what it means to be the kind of energy provider our customers need for the future. With all the pieces in place, the large scale of our utility business, our focus on organic growth, and other investments in emerging technology, we see no limit to what our energy can do for our employees, our customers, our shareholders, and our communities. We couldn't be more excited about the progress that we've made, and I don't know if any of you saw the stock price yesterday. Thought I'd throw that in. And we look forward to making a few announcements in the weeks ahead. Thank you to everyone for continuing on this journey with us. I especially want to thank our employees who live and breathe our mission every day. I want to thank our board members. And I specifically want to thank one board member, a long-tenured board member, Tony Linez. Tony, you've been instrumental to our success, and we're forever thankful for what you have contributed to this board. You've been generous with your time and your wisdom, your expertise, and your care over the years. And you've been personally a mentor to me, so I want to thank you publicly for that. And of course, thank you to our customers, our shareholders, and communities, because you have confidence in us, and we will continue to deliver on the confidence that you have given us in 2016. So thank you again.
Thank you, Suzanne. Before I open the floor for questions, I thought it'd be worth mentioning, if you live in St. Louis, you read perhaps more negative sometimes about our great city than you read positive. But one of the stories that was back on page 4 or 5 probably of our newspaper was what happened with the United Way this year. And a lot of St. Louisans stepped forward with increased amounts to help those among us who aren't so fortunate. You should know that Suzanne Cole led that effort, set record contributions, and I just think it's a story that needs to be told, that we have great civic leadership, and we also have a city that steps forward to help people that need that help. So we shouldn't let that go unnoticed. Okay, let me open the floor now for questions. Are there any questions or anything that we can comment on further? Diane.
Where do you foresee the stock price being in 3 to 5 years?
The stock price being in 3 to 5 years?
Since you're at your high now.
I think I just got choked up again, so. I think I can only give you my sense, and I'm going to ask Suzanne to comment on that too. But one of the things we've seen over the last several days, I think, is everything gets more volatile around the world, and I don't expect that to stop. I think, the financial strength of the company and the business we're in and what people need in the way of our services and the new services that we can find, I think will, I don't know how to quantify it numerically, but I think we'll do very well. We continue, as we've always said, we continue to look at opportunities to grow our company, but it's not a given that, you can do that in a smart way. So one of the things we all worry about a lot is making sure when we do those things, the shareholders see a real benefit from it. So we may find some of those that we may not, but I think we'll do better than most, and I think we'll be steadier than most. That's kind of my sense of what will happen. Suzanne?
Just a little bit on that. We obviously don't control sort of the macroeconomic elements like interest rates and so forth, and we don't control the markets. But what we do control is our own destiny. And our management team's very much in telling a story where we're taking this company and then executing. And the way that we talk about it is we tell you what we're going to do and then we do it. And what we have found over time, if you tell folks what you're going to do and you execute well and you deliver on that you will be rewarded in the marketplace. And so that's been our mission. Our Northern Star that we've talked about, our growth story, is just that growth in specific areas of growth. And that's the story we tell, and that's what we've been executing on. And so we keep doing that. We feel like we will serve our shareholders well.
Yeah, where do you see the fueling? Sorry. Where do you see the market for natural gas fueling with the abundance of natural gas and the abundance of oil? What do you think where it will be here in about 5 years?
The price of natural gas or the availability of natural gas?
Well, with the initiative of making it a fuel for trucks, for stations.
Yeah, thank you for the question. You're asking more specifically about Spire natural gas fueling solution, and we actually have the leaders of that sitting second row back, and so I can tell by their facial expressions whether or not I'm going to give you a good answer or not. So we are very committed to natural gas as a fueling solution for our country. The economics work, but more importantly, maybe in some ways, it's U.S. fuel, and there's plenty of it. Also, the folks that are on the road in terms of diesel displacement are big believers in it as well. Part of what our team has been working on, and they're quite frankly one of the best in the U.S., is removing market barriers. I know always now the question is, well, the gas at the pump's a lot lower, so does that mean the economics don't work anymore for this fueling solution? And the answer is, economically it still works. Those that buy long-haul tractor trailers, when they buy those assets, there's 7 to 10 year commitments for those trailers. And when you run the economics against the price difference between natural gas and diesel in essence, the economics still work. So those decisions are being made. And we recently, I know I'd get in trouble if I didn't say this, but we recently opened a station in South Carolina, in Greer, South Carolina, which is one of the hubs for long-haul and short-haul tractor trailers, and it's meeting our expectations in terms of trailers added to that station.
The only thing I might add to that is we work hard to insulate ourselves against the vagaries of price of those commodities, so which takes a fair amount of hedging, and it's multiple years out. So it's both an art and a science, and I wouldn't represent to you its great precision, but it has worked really well for us over the last 10 years or so to steady the price for the consumers and for the customers we have. And it also allows us to react a little bit better to things that are beginning to change. So we do that to the best of our ability. Other questions, comments?
Are there going to be more hubs?
Sorry?
Are there going to be more hubs?
More hubs. Suzanne?
Now, I know I'd get in trouble if I say no to that with these guys sitting up here. A little bit to Ed's point and my comments about execution, we're very thoughtful about how we think of the economics. So for example, when we chose Greer, South Carolina, we did a lot of work in terms of how many vehicles, tractor trailers are running up and down that corridor, what's the fuel consumption. We met with the owners of those to understand their vehicle conversion rates and so forth, and did a lot of fuel analysis, worked with the community. So I say all that to say we just don't sort of jump in, build it, and hope that they will come. And so there are long lead times, and it's more for us right now not how many stations we have or how many vehicles we convert. It's getting the economics right and the station right for these customers, because they will get excited about these stations when they're built well, accommodate them, turning capacities, and get in and out and so forth. All the things have to be right because this is really a new market for them, and we're very focused on getting it right for the customers as well as the shareholder. Again, we do that right, there'll be more hubs to come.
Other questions, comments? Great questions, thank you. Whoops, go ahead.
This ongoing program of replacing metal pipes in residential neighborhoods with PVC material, I'm not sure, able to increase pressure, gas pressure in neighborhoods, am I correct? What about the increased risk of failure as it may of the supply valves in the neighborhoods? In case they fail, this would increase the danger to households like pilot light flare-up in water heaters, stoves. How is that being addressed? Are the valves being updated or changed?
If I'm understanding your question correctly, and correct me if I'm not hearing it correctly, you're asking about, we're replacing the old aged infrastructure in the streets, and then you have a service line that comes to your home. We are also changing those aged service lines from the streets to the home. And even sometimes there's a meter inside the home and we're bringing it outside the home. So we're really modernizing the entirety of the system. And what that does is a lot of things. Our system is very safe as it is, and the pressures, and I've got the expert sitting right there, in fact, it is very safe. But when we change out this older infrastructure, there's less administrative expense for us. We're also able to elevate, a little more than you want to, elevate the pressure a bit. And so the way that the operation guys are able to operate, it's more efficient. So it's good in the sense we have a modernized system here in St. Louis, or in Kansas City, or in Birmingham and Montgomery for that matter. New system that will last for decades to come, but also there's efficiencies that occur as a result of us modernizing the system, so the cost to our customer comes down as a result of that modernization. Does that get you?
Well, I'm concerned with the possible failure of the valve in the neighborhoods that cause increased pressure to reach an individual house, causing the blast of gas to flare up.
I'm really sorry, I'm not hearing you, sir.
I was concerned about the increased pressure in the pipes, and there's a failure of a valve, supply valve in the neighborhood, how that will affect safety in the individual homes in the event of a flare-up.
Okay.
Bring the mic up, so, for Rob. Rob, bring the mic for Steve. I'm too wired here.
Hey, thanks for the question. Relative to the pressure, there are several pieces of that equation. It's the operating pressure in the system, which could be a medium pressure system, 25, 30 pounds. Those are the type of pipes that we're replacing, the mains and the service lines that Suzanne described. Then at the meter set, there's another valve that in essence reduces pressure. So the pressure inside the home is not changing at all. So none of the safeguards against overpressuring inside of a home are changing at all. In fact, it's probably enhanced with the replacement program that we have, because the ongoing maintenance, leaks on the facilities that we're replacing are going away as well. So there's no increased pressure at all that goes inside the home or the risk of that.
Thank you, Steve.
Anything else? We really appreciate the comments and questions, we do. Okay, thank you all. Ellen, do we have the report from the Inspector of Election?
Yes, we do. The results were as follows. Brenda D. Newberry, Suzanne Sitherwood, and Marianne Van Locheren Each received more than 32 million votes, which is greater than a majority of the voted shares. Therefore, that is sufficient for Brenda D. Newberry's, Suzanne Sitherwood's, and Marianne Van Loughran's election for a term of 3 years. The proposal for reapproval of the Laclede Group's annual incentive plan, as amended, received favorable votes from 32 million shares as well, more than 32 million, which is greater than the majority of voted shares, which is sufficient for its approval. The proposal to ratify the appointment of Deloitte & Touche LLP to audit the accounts of the Laclede Group for fiscal year 2016 received more than 38 million favorable votes, which is also greater than the majority of the voted shares, which is sufficient for its approval.
As you heard, the nominees named in the proxy statement have been elected. The Laclede Group Annual Incentive Plan as amended has been reapproved, and the appointment of Deloitte & Touche LLP has been ratified. I will now ask Ms. Theroff for closing statement and motion to adjourn.
Some of today's comments have included forward-looking statements. Actual results may differ materially from those projected. A description of the risks and uncertainties that could cause future performance or results to be different than those anticipated is contained in the company's Form 10-K and other documents filed with the SEC, which are readily available. We also note that some of the remarks contain non-GAAP financial measures. Reconciliation of the non-GAAP financial measures to comparable GAAP measures can be found in our 10-K available on our website. As proxy, I move that the meeting be adjourned.
All right, thank you, Ellen. Given that we had a motion to adjourn, it is so ordered. Before you leave, we would thank you for coming, for being with us today, and for your interest in Laclede. We're all proud of our company, obviously, and thanks for being part of it. We appreciate it.